Hi, everybody. Jim Graham here for Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing. On the line, I have a very special guest joining me. He will be fighting at XFC 27 in Muskegon, Michigan on December 13th, taking on Ray Lopez. He is Shamir Bam Bam Garcia. Shamir, thanks for coming on Beyond the Cage.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Now, Shamir, I know you pretty well. We used to go to high school together, and I remember talking about UFC and a lot of the big-time fights with you. But for our listeners out there, I just wanted to let them know and let me know, who is someone that, when you step into the cage, that you try to model yourself after?
Well, there's been great fighters that come out of the Detroit area. Tommy Hearns, Craig Payne, Oscar De La Hoya. He didn't come out of Detroit, but he's one of the guys that I kind of look up to. And they're real classy professionals, and that's something that I can always strive for.
And how did you get the nickname Bam Bam? Was that something that you gave yourself, or was that one of your coaches or friends?
My mother gave me that nickname. She gave me the nickname Bam Bam when I was a little kid, when I was a baby. I used to kind of put stuff together and take it apart. And I like to build things and take them apart, and Legos, you name it. And I kind of introduced that to my trainer, Cooper Sensei, and he liked it, and it kind of stuck from there,
Now, I know we're a little less than a week for your fight on Friday, but how is your weight looking at right now?
My weight's looking good. I have a nutritionist, Coach Christy Ramirez. She's excellent, and she's got me where I need to be right now, and everything's good and comfortable.
Now, I know you've been fighting a lot at 200 or 205 pounds. Is there any plans in the future that you maybe would drop down a weight class to, say, 185 pounds?
Stuff like that. I kind of leave that to my management team. They figure stuff as far as opportunities for 185 to 205. They figure all that stuff out, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. I just train and focus, and whenever they tell me that they have a fight, Cooper Sensei and the management team, they help me get ready for it, and we go from there.
Now, I know a while ago you were telling me about the Global Proving Ground, and that was something that you were trying to do, and I was wondering if you can kind of explain to our listeners what that is, and then how was that experience with GPG?
Global Proving Ground is CEO James Jefferson. That's their CEO, and they run they're more part of my management team, and they're a worldwide. They have a roster of fighters. You can visit GPG globalprovingground.com and see all the details on there. And James Jefferson came to my last fight, and it was a good time, and it was a pleasure having him here.
Now, I know you wrestled in high school for the very prestigious John Glenn High School, and I've heard about your fights since you've obviously graduated high school. And is it safe to say now that you started kind of out as a wrestler, but now you're kind of more of a striker?
Cooper Sensei he's kind of tailored my game so it's a little bit more overall well-rounded, and I definitely think my wrestling background to help that out. Coach Polk and John Glenn High School is a good wrestling program, and Sensei Cooper kind of helped out the transition between wrestling and MMA, and I definitely couldn't have done it without him, that's for sure.
Now, did you go straight from Glenn to Cooper's gym and training, or was there any other sort of transitional period in between, or?
Actually, I started out MMA with Master Rice in Westland, Michigan, and the gym kind of relocated a couple times, and I had unreliable transportation, and because of that, I couldn't make it to the gym as much. And eventually, I ran into one of my friends that came to Cooper's gym, and he introduced me to Master Instructor Cooper. And I kind of asked him, can I be part of the family, part of the gym, and they welcomed me with open arms, and the rest is kind of history.
And is that what mainly drew you to start training at Cooper's as opposed to some of the other camps we have around here in Metro Detroit?
Well, Cooper's gym is world renowned for for their abilities as far as stand up and grappling, and really it's just the family atmosphere that I really fell in love with, and that's the main reason I'm here. It's a great team here, so we're all family.
Now, some of our listeners may know I actually used to train at Cooper's Gym a couple years ago. I haven't been able to get back to follow up on some of the very excellent Muay Thai there, as you have mentioned that Cooper's Gym has. And no, it's not very impressive, and probably you have passed the ranks of what I have accomplished. I got a yellow belt in there in Muay Thai. I was wondering how far have you gotten along in your belts, at least within the Muay Thai?
Well, in the Muay Thai program so far, I'm a first degree black belt, and really the knowledge of Cooper's Gym is very vast. And out of a penny, I'm maybe out of $1, I'm maybe 5 cents. So I have a lot of room to grow and a lot of knowledge to gain. Hopefully in the future. So
you're saying I got a couple of years to catch up to you? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Well, a little bit. With dedication and hard work, the sky's the limit for anyone, really. You set goals and you have dreams and you reach for the stars, man.
I know one of the promotions here in Michigan that you have fought for is the TWC. I know those guys over there in Lansing, they're good guys, and was just wondering how was it fighting for them a few times?
It was fantastic. Pete is a great matchmaker, and he put together some really, really great cards for everybody that had the opportunity. Pete and Drew. They put together some amazing cards, and if anybody had the opportunity to see those fights, they really, really, really got to see a couple of good shows. And now I had one in May that I fought for, and there was another one in November that my team put the opportunity to let me fight for, and I had a great time. And it's great to have fans from in-state come out to those fights, and they also had a great time because of the amazing cards.
I got to see one of your fights online at TWC. I think it was TWC 18, and I believe you won with a first-round knockout after some knees to the body. And that a technique that you really like, getting inside and using the knees either to the head or the body, Shamir? When
a Muay Thai clinch is established, in Cooper's Gym, there's so many techniques. I'd have to, for the stuff that I know, there's a million things that I don't know. But for the things that I do know, it takes so long to explain anything. But in that position, those knees that you see there, they're really effective. And I came out with the victory, and thank God.
Jim Graham here on Beyond the Cage talking with Shamir Garcia leading up to his fight at XFC 27 against Ray Lopez. And I know, Shamir, earlier this year, I believe you went down and fought in Brazil, and I was wondering what that, first of all, just going down to Brazil, and then second of all, fighting and winning down in Brazil.
Yeah, I fought in Portugal in June 1st, 2013, and it was a beautiful, beautiful country, and the people were even nicer, and everybody was very hospitable, and the food was excellent, and I had a great time, and I really enjoyed myself.
Now, I know you speak Spanish, and obviously they're speaking Portuguese. Was there any trouble, any language barrier at all, or did they speak English, or how was, I guess, communicating with the people over there?
There was a couple of gentlemen that were with us most of the time, and they spoke some English, and some of them spoke a little bit more English than others. But they were really nice and helpful. And because of my Spanish background, it's basically like if I were talking to you, if you can understand maybe 2 out of 3 words or 3 out of 5 words, that's kind of how it was. And yeah, everybody was real cool and nice, and it was a great time.
Now, as I've mentioned several times, because I want to let the listeners know how great John Glenn High School is, but in addition to us going there, of course, current UFC fighter Darren Cruikshank went there, and that's a guy who was actually on the same wrestling team as you. And I just want to get your thoughts on what's it like seeing a guy like Darren Cruikshank come from this area, come from our high school, and make it all the way to the UFC.
Oh, that's great. Darren's a good friend. He's a great person. And he's a great martial artist, and I'm really proud of him. He's done a great job.
Now, for this fight against Ray Lopez, is there any specific area in your training camp that you focused on more than usual?
Conditioning, lots of conditioning, and on top of that, more conditioning.
And what can you tell us about Ray Lopez? What does he bring to the table that you're going to have to look out for on Friday?
Yeah, well, first I want to thank Ray Lopez for taking the fight, and he's a great fighter and a good guy. And XFC 27 Frozen Fury, December 13th, this Friday. We're going to put on a show, and the fans are going to love it. That's what I anticipate.
Now, on the official XFC website, it lists your fight as a TV swing bout, so there's a potential that your fight could get shown on Access Television. And with that kind of incentive, Shamir, does that give you more reason to kind of go out there and put on a great show for everybody?
Absolutely. I can't thank XFC enough for putting together the opportunity with my management team and Cooper Sensei on making that a TV swing bout. And me and Ray Lopez are definitely going to put on a show.
Now, with Lopez having a few more fights than you in terms of mixed martial arts at 13, his overall record at 8-5. Did that give you any pause in signing this fight, or did you feel that even with a couple more fights experience that wasn't going to really make a difference in any potential outcome?
I have a great team around me, and they put together a game plan for me that I definitely plan on following throughout the fight. And because of that, I feel that the fight can go in a positive way for me. And he's got a lot of experience, and I respect that. And I have confidence in the experience of my management team to get me through this fight. So, for the victory.
And what does it mean to you, Shamir, to be fighting for an organization like the XFC?
The XFC is one of the fastest growing MMA promotions in the country, and they will continue to grow. And I'm really honored for them having me on this show. And they have past events that are very successful. And I kind of encourage people to check them out online, xfcmma.com, and to see some of their past events and information on future events, too.
Well, Shamir, it was great talking to you, buddy. I look forward to seeing you again and seeing you fight against Ray Lopez at XFC 27, and wish you the best of luck on Friday inside the cage.
Hey, thanks very much, Jim, and it was a pleasure being on your show, and thanks again, and I'm going to be ready for Friday, so thank you.
Once again, that was Shamir Bam Bam Garcia right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing.